Men are from Mars. It's just an insight into the fact that we're all weird, messed up, beautiful, vulnerable, fragile, macho, all those things, men. We try to bring it to the table in 12 minutes.
Tommy kind of just presented this to us in the car ride between where we were staying and DePaul University. And eventually we just kept coming back that there was something here.
We really are trying to be broad and interpretive about men.
From the way that we evolved, to the way that we communicated, and even the odd ways that we communicate with one another.
I think this show has already been pegged a masculine man show. What exactly does it mean to be a man? What is masculine? Who are we to say what range, what scale of masculinity is appropriate?
The beginning of the show is really about the evolution of man. And then we use the tribal aspect of it, how at that time we didn't really have verbal communication. That's really what the first part of the show is about, the John Mackey piece.
From there we have a bit of a transition, kind of a left turn into Laurie Anderson's Oh Superman. We're happy to kind of put our own spin on it.
That's man evolving. That's where we start the process of shedding our outer layer.
From there we go into kind of the rhythmic and narrative kind of crux of the show, the real heart of the show, which is Little Green Men by Steve Vai, which is like mixed meter on steroids.
Little Green Men, a Steve Vai piece, represents all the idiosyncrasies of man.
You know, we do this dude buddy bro part, which is really just a take again on laughing at the way men are towards one another. We meant for it to be tongue-in-cheek. We're not trying to say that men are cool in this way, in fact, quite the opposite.
The third part of the show, which is the fifth and sixth segment, is where man starts to become more isolated, man starts to become more vulnerable. The ballad of the show, which is a gorgeous medley.
For that we use two pieces of source material, one on the nature of daylight by Max Richter, and we kind of juxtapose it with The Sun's Gone Dim by Johan Johansson. Those two end up working so well to kind of show how isolated we can become as men, but also as a species. To close the show out, you can't do a show called Men Are From Mars without using Mars from the planets.
When it comes to Mars, it's something familiar, something we've done many years in our past. It's kind of a musical homecoming for the Cavaliers, but it's also something that allowed us to explore this concept in a number of different ways.
Mars being the bringer of war, and Frank Sinatra's My Way being the, we're men, we're going to try to do this our way no matter what.
You know, ultimately there is this thing about us as men and the ego that within us that could ultimately lead to our ultimate demise.
By doing things our own way, it could be the end of us. And that's sort of the through thread storyline of the show.
We have many different props across the field in Men Are From Mars. We have some stages that you'll see a lot of featured events happen upon. And we have some beacon props that are across the back that we use as Roman war drum stations. You'll see across the field about 10 man caves that we are presenting in the beginning of the show, and those are our hub stations for the Corps and the Guard alike. It's kind of where we evolve from.
How those integrate in the drill and the staging is something that is really paramount, and how they evolve and move around the field and motivate ideas is something that has been really important to us and has been fun to play with.
We just want you to have felt all the things that men feel. You know, we're sad, we think we're funny, we're angry people, we have our ego, we have our ability to clash with one another, and we have the ability to love and look deep within ourselves.
To me, it's all about excitement. We want fans to walk away inspired by what they see.
Ultimately, what we want for the audience is to entertain, to engage, and just taking them on a ride and never giving them a chance to disengage.
There's a lot of layers to the onion to peel back. We want to leave them with wanting to see the show again.
And I think that it's really important to us that we have a variety too. That we take you from classical and pure to modern and wild to humorous to dark and isolated and then to destruction. I think that that's really important. There are a ton of ups and downs and ebbs and flows and different things to hear, different things to look at. So it becomes an experience.
We have a lot of incredible feats of strength, agility, coordination out on display in the 2017 Drum Corps show, and I think our fans are going to eat it up.
We want people to recognize that this is iconic Cavaliers. Whip neck drill, crazy mashups of tunes. We're playing Mars, for Pete's sake. We're doing all things that are Cavaliers, so in a lot of ways the show represents man, but men as Cavaliers. So it's perhaps a little bit of insight into who we are as people, who we are as a corps, and who we are as an identity regarding our 2017 production.